So you've decided that you have too much money, and instead of giving that money to me so that I can lose it, you've decided that you would like to lose it yourself on the futures market. Well, you've come to the right place, because today we're going to tell you everything that you need to know to get started in futures. And all joking aside, futures is a very intimidating market, and the whole goal here is to get you up to speed as quickly as possible so that you lose as little money as possible. And be honest with you, futures is very difficult, and it's very difficult to learn. And at some point in your futures trading career, you are going to lose some money. That doesn't mean that it can't be a profitable venture in the end, but something like 90% of traders are not profitable in futures. And we would like to up that up and give you the best chance that you can. So here's the things that I think you need to know to get started in futures, right? The first thing, like I said, they're not for everyone, okay? There is substantial risk of loss in futures. Granted, you can control your risk. There's stop losses, and you control your size and control what action you're in. And so you definitely have control over your risk. But if you don't do things correctly, if you mess it up, it is absolutely possible to lose $1,000 in a day or more on just one contract. I'm not even kidding. So please be careful. This money is your money. You worked hard for it. Don't just waste it. All right. Also, a lot of the best opportunities for trading are early in the morning. I trade treasuries. I wake up at 5:30 every morning so that I can be ready to trade treasuries. If you don't like waking up early, futures might not be for you. Granted, there are some opportunities in the afternoon with Asian markets, but I still recommend, if you really want to trade, you want to trade early in the morning. And sometimes it's boring. I trade treasuries, and there's been periods of time where it didn't move more than a tick for a whole hour. And this isn't like a uncommon occurrence. We'll have a slow period where it's in a slow range for 10 to 20 minutes almost every day. And that just can be futures. If there's no reason for the markets to be moving, then they just don't move, and so it can be very boring. So that's definitely something that you need to keep in mind. Now, with that in mind, here are the advantages of futures. And if you want to scalp, if you want to be a day trader, I believe that you should trade futures. And here's why. First of all, the margin is the best that you can get. You get like 200 to 1 margin. I trade the treasury markets. One tick is worth $15 essentially in the 10-year, and $31 if you trade the 30-year. And you can get a quick 4-tick move and make $100. You can get a good 16-tick move off of news in the bond in ZB. You can make $1,000. And that's just not something that you're going to find in stocks. It's very difficult to even get that in Forex and options sometimes. So the margin, I think, is a very, very key component. The next thing is the taxes. So if you trade stocks or Forex and you make $1,000, and then you trade futures and you make $1,000, you're going to make more money on the futures because of something that's called the 60-40 rule. And what that is they give you a discount. He's telling you, right? You get a discount. 60% of your income is going to be taxed at the long-term capital gains rate, and then the rest of it is going to be taxed as regular income, okay? So that really helps, because right now the long-term capital gains rate is 15%, and for a lot of you, the regular rate is going to be like 28 to 35%, right? So that's money in your pocket. That makes a big difference, okay? And then the third thing, and I think the most important thing, is that the information that you get in the futures market does not exist in any other market. You can see how many people have bids or offers at every price. You can see how many trades are going through at each price, and you can't see this in other markets. If you're trading stocks, there's multiple exchanges, and generally brokers kind of hide that information from you. If you're trading Forex, that information just doesn't exist. They don't even show you volume in Forex. And in my opinion, that just makes it a crapshoot. You really don't know whether people are going to come in or exit a trade because you can't see what's actually going on underneath of the hood. And you can in futures. And that's why I would say if you're going to scalp, if you're going to day trade, you absolutely want to do futures, right? And then the last thing, especially true if you're trading treasuries, which is what I would recommend, your commissions are much lower. So commission is like $250 per trade, and that's expensive. Like you can get it much lower than that if you're pulling some size and you get good at it, if you're trading the 10-year. So that makes a big difference because commissions really will cut into your profits in the long run. You take 4 trades a day, you know, that's a couple $100 a month. So definitely matters. All right. So getting started, I think one of the first things that you want to do is you want to try a bunch of different software and decide what kind of fits for you best. I personally really like order flow tools. That's what I would recommend, and that's any tool that kind of shows you the difference between market buys and market sells and different ways of displaying that information. Okay, so a couple of pieces of software that can show you this kind of information that I think does a good job. First one, NinjaTrader, is probably the most popular, most accessible. You can just go to their website and get a free demo. It's free to download and use, and you only have to pay for it to use it with a live account. So NinjaTrader is a really great one to get started with looking at first. Now, the piece of software that I use and that I recommend the most is Jigsaw Day Trader. So it's very, very stable. It's not going to crash on you while you're trading, and it has a really great DOM. It has the best information out there, I think. And so I highly, highly recommend Jigsaw Day Trader. That's about $500 to get started. So that is an upfront cost. And to trade live with it, there's a monthly fee. So you can get discounts, get a whole year for about $1,000, and even less than that if they're doing a promotion. So keep a lookout for those, especially around December. They usually do a deal like that. Subscribe to the mailing list and just watch it. And when you see one, go for it right away because they don't last long. Another one that's really popular and a lot of people in the Discord room that we run use is Sierra Charts. And the nice thing about Sierra Charts is it's a small monthly fee, depending on which version that you get, between $15 and $60 a month. And it has great tools. Very, very professional charts. It has a DOM that's almost as good as the Jigsaw one. It has great charts that I think are better than NinjaTrader 8 actually, although I haven't used it a whole lot myself personally, but I think it looks really nice, and they have a lot of stuff that's built in, okay? And then the big one is Trading Technologies. So Trading Technologies is absolutely the big boy in the space. That's the one that the professionals use, but it is very, very expensive. So most of you probably aren't going to be using Trading Technologies, but hey, if you're rich and you're really serious, Trading Technologies is absolutely one to look at because there's a reason why they're the preferred choice of professionals, right? Now, the next thing you want to do is you're going to want to get data. So the whole thing here is that you're going to suck at this at first, in all likelihood. The chances of you coming out and as a new trader just hitting it out of the park every day are pretty unlikely. You're probably going to lose 55–60% of the time at the beginning, and you're not going to select your trades very well. And so when you're learning, it's better, in my opinion, to do that learning on a simulator. That's what you would do if you were trading at a prop firm. That's the way that I think you should learn. So this allows you to go in and start learning without having to put any money on the line in the beginning. So the best way to do that is to get demos from CQG and Rhythmic. A lot of futures brokers out there, they have demos, and that's essentially what you're getting, is you're getting a demo CQG Rhythmic account, right? These are the two major data providers in the space. They require an email, and the demo only lasts for 2 weeks. So I apologize for the birds, but they're much quieter in here than they are if I left them in the other rooms. So, anyways, if you you get the demo, it only lasts for 2 weeks, and that's a rule from the exchanges that prevents them from giving you demo data for longer than 2 weeks. Now, you can sign up again after the 2 weeks and just use a different email address. And I did that for a very, very long time, but eventually that stopped working. They actually specifically banned my IP from using the demo. So it's not a viable long-term solution that you're going to be able to do for months and months and months, right? So then the next step up from there, if you've done the demo a couple of times, is you can do the combines. So this is like Top Step Trader and One Up Trader, and here you're paying about $100 to $150 a month to go into a combine. And if you meet certain performance requirements within their combine, then they will fund you, which is a great deal. Unfortunately, it's very, very hard to do. If you are new, you're pretty unlikely to do it. You have to be a really good trader to meet some of these requirements. And my experience with them, because I tried many combines, and I got to the point where I could pass the combine if I was lucky, but the amount of time that it took me to do it wasn't worth it, because it was going to take me like 3 to 4 months. Hey, no biting. What are you doing? You okay? I thought so. All right, so I found that the amount of money that it would take for me to pass a combine, because it would take me like 3 months, and 3 months of combines, that's, like $450. And at that point, you might as well go and do the next step up, which is what I recommend you do, which is you just start an account. And if you go to AMP Futures, which is the cheapest one, you only need $500 minimum for an account, and that goes into your account balance. And then it's $15 a month for the data, and they don't have any kind of upkeep fees if you don't trade it or anything like that. So you can literally just get the account and just use it for data for as long as you need to. And that's probably the easiest way to do things. Now, another thing that I will note is that when you get demo data, the simulator that you get when you submit orders to their demo system is not very accurate, in my opinion. I think that CQG and Rhythmic kind of lie to you, especially if you put in an order really far away and it's been there for a very long time. Then they seem to think that you get filled almost instantly, and that's just not the case. My recommendation for a simulator is to use the internal simulator in Jigsaw Trading. That is by far the most accurate simulator that you're going to get out there. One of the big reasons why I absolutely recommend Jigsaw, and why I use Jigsaw if you're new, right? Very accurate simulator. All right, so you can get the account from a couple of different places, and I'm just going to briefly go over some of the brokers out there in the space that I think are going to be the most interesting to you. There are more than this, but I'm not too familiar with them. Probably the best deal right now, commissions-wise, is Trade-O-Vate, and the reason is because with Trade-O-Vate, you pay a flat monthly fee, $100, and then you don't actually pay any commissions with them. You still have to pay the exchange commissions, but then it's only like it's like $1, more than $1 taken off of every trade. So that's a really good deal. They work with Jigsaw and a couple of other platforms, and they kind of have their own platform built in too. So Trade-O-Vate's probably your best deal right now. And then, as I already mentioned, AMP Futures AMP is like the easiest to get started because they only require a $500 minimum deposit, whereas other futures brokers usually require you to have like $5,000. Another one that's really good is Stage 5 trading, very popular. The unique thing about Stage 5 trading, they have Futures Trader 71, who is somebody that you should absolutely go and look up. And they kind of treat you like they would treat you if you were trading at a prop firm. So if you're doing poorly that day, they will, you know, hit you up with the messages and say, hey, maybe it's time to step away because it seems like you're not doing too well today. So they help you control your risk. And I think that that's a really useful thing, especially when you're new. You just wouldn't believe how easy it is to just be completely out of your mind and not trading well and not realize it. So absolutely a good resource. And then the last one is the Ninja Trader brokerage, is also really popular, and they have pretty competitive rates. And since Ninja Trader is a really popular platform anyways, if you're using Ninja Trader, why not just go with their brokerage? I think that's a pretty good deal. So, and then the last thing is education. So you're probably not going to know what you're doing with futures trading, and it's a very difficult pie to dissect, you know, to figure out everything. It's going to take a long, you're going to have to see a lot of different markets to really understand the market, and you might see things and you might misunderstand what's going on at first. So getting some education up front will definitely help you out. The first resource that I recommend is No BS Day Trading. So they have a beginner course there, and this is taught by a guy named John Grady. Very cheap, it's only like $80. And it tells you everything that you need to know about order flow and how the market really works. This is just absolutely essential information. By far the best value out there, the No BS Day Trading Day course. And that's literally where I learned everything about day trading, was through that resource. So I would absolutely go and do that one, right? The next resource that I think is a really good deal is the futures.io. And at futures.io, you can buy an elite membership. It's like $100 one time, and you get access to their elite forum and their elite member benefits. So that will give you access to additional webinars. And there's just a lot of really good education, the Futures.io elite webinars. That alone makes it worth it. There are indicators that you can buy for Ninja, or not buy, but, you know, download for free from their forum for Ninja Trader or Sierra charts that are only available to elite members. So and not only that, but then they also give you discounts and deals on brokers and, you know, different tools in the space. So for your dollar value that you're getting out of it, it's absolutely worth it to spend the $100 right up front. This is something that I can tell you, you can just go ahead and just spend the $100 right now, and you're going to be happy with what you get. Okay. And then of course, Jigsaw Trading again. So they're the platform that I really like, but they also have some good education, and they have a YouTube channel with a lot of good videos. They also have education that you can buy. I haven't gone through that education, but I'm just going to assume that it's going to be pretty good if it's anywhere near as good as the free stuff that they have. And this is really going to give you all of the theory and market mechanics information that you're going to need to be successful. And then if you really want to put down on some more serious education, I would look at Axie Futures. So they also have a YouTube channel, and you can, they have lots of good videos and summaries, but it's of course nothing close to what their course is. it receives good reviews. The traders that are involved with it are very good traders that have a track record of success and are real traders, okay, that are trading real money. So that in and of itself is a big part of getting the education. And anywhere else that you see education or tools or anything, I would always check first the futures.io forum to see if there's a thread about them and to see what people think, see what other people that have done it say. And then also tradingschools.org. They do reviews and they're very, very tough, and they will tell you straight up if the education that you're talking about has an edge or not. And the last thing that I'll say is that, you can't just follow other people's trades or other people's methods. A lot of futures trading is going to be about finding your own edge, because 50% of all of the lots, 50% of all the lots that are traded in futures are going to lose money, okay? And just by the nature of that, it's a very competitive, and it's all, everybody trying to maneuver themselves onto that 50% of the people at that moment that are going to be profitable. So if you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're going to lose. So futures is really about getting a good base understanding and then using that understanding to find your own trades that match with your personality, your risk profile, etc., etc. These birds. I hope that you guys find the birds entertaining for this video. Maybe I'll re-record it without the birds, but they were screaming so loudly yesterday. Anyways, that's about everything that I have. I hope that gets you started and that wasn't too boring. And like I said, it's really hard, but if you can learn how to do it, it can be rewarding. So don't be afraid. Just be serious. That's the real key, is you've got to be serious about it. And yeah, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. And of course, you can always watch. I record every trading session. Not that I'm very good. I mostly break even over the past 6 months, but that is useful information. We have some other educational resources on the channel talking about some of the indicators and strategies that I found useful, so you can check that out too. And I hope to see you later.